There's a little bit of confusion on the internet in the arrest affidavit if it was Johnson, Idaho or Johnson, Washington.
What's up, guys? True Crime King. How we doing? Gonna be reacting to Crime Circus's sixth, count 'em, sixth video. I've done a reaction to all the other five, so why not do a sixth, right? And yeah, I skipped through the ads, about 3 minutes and 45 seconds worth for you. So we're starting at the meat and potatoes. Hit that like and subscribe. Here we go.
Johnson, Washington is very close to Pullman, Washington, which is right where Bryan and Brent both lived. What's interesting about Johnson, Idaho is Brent Lee Kopacka's parents lived in Pierce, Idaho, which is the next town over from Johnson, Idaho. Also, if you pull up their house on Street View, you'll see a somewhat familiar car in the driveway. It's a silver Hyundai Elantra that appears to match the years that we were all looking for.
Yeah, it's dirty, just like the one Kohberger was driving too. Remember, it's dirty as hell on the outside.
And on some of the footage we've seen, it wasn't exactly clear if it was a white Hyundai Elantra or a silver Hyundai Elantra that...
Yeah, there's no way to tell if that's white or silver from this. I'm sorry, but you just can't tell.
We were all looking for. Silver and white cars look very similar at night, especially on grainy surveillance and body cameras. It's also allegedly rumored that Brent Lee Kopacka owned a white Hyundai Elantra that was parked at his apartment in Pullman, Washington. Now I'm going to direct you to the truck that can be seen in Brent Lee Kopacka's parents' drive.
Okay, this is the one. Well, remember the one at the trailer park, right? And the one at that was by the food truck. So there's now there's three different white trucks. You got the one that was following them at the food truck that made a right. Okay, that's one. Then there was a second one at the food truck that was pulled into a parking spot. Two different trucks. Okay. And the truck that was pulled into the parking spot was also the one that was found at a trailer house that was on the affidavit on Bryan's route. Right now, we're talking about this one. Okay, this one's got the rear rack, but it doesn't have black tires. Let's see what he's got, or black rims. Let's see what he's got to say about this.
Driveway. It's a big white truck. And we also all saw a big white truck drive by Kaylee, Maddie, and the hoodie guy on the surveillance footage that we saw. I'm going to play that right now for you.
Yeah, see, but that one's got black rims. And there's no rack on that one.
What do you think? Was that the same truck or not? Could be, it might be.
I don't think it is.
I don't know. If you've seen, and you might recall the body camera footage when Bryan Kohberger and his father were pulled over 2 times in Indiana. One of the first things that Bryan's father mentioned was the shooting in Pullman, Washington. That shooting in Pullman, Washington, that was SWAT team shooting Brent Lee Kopacka. You could see the sketched out look in Bryan's eyes.
And real quick, some of you are saying that I don't like I don't like Crime Circus or Drip Drop in the comments. Where the hell are you getting that from? I mean, come on, guys.
And you could especially see the deer in headlights look on Bryan's eyes when his father...
I think he does a fantastic job, okay?
They mentioned that they were heading to Pennsylvania. It's been reported that the 911 call was in reference to Brent threatening his roommates. But did Brent even have roommates? Nobody's come forward to say anything to the media, and it doesn't seem like the media has actually properly investigated the situation. The police department put out a press release, and it seems like the investigation ended right then and there. However, the investigation has not ended right here at Crime Circus. I'm still investigating. I think there may be a connection from Brent to Bryan. Somehow, some way, there must be. Just 1 week prior to Bryan fleeing the state and Brent passing away at the hands of SWAT team, Brent posted this on his social media. It was a close-up picture of his eye, and it said, "I see you too," which is quite interesting because it's a somewhat similar photo that Inside Looking was using on social media. Also, it's interesting his choice of words, "I see you too," was...
That is pretty interesting. Because remember, the Inside Looking account was, everybody thought that was Kohberger posting on Reddit, right?
this in reference to Bryan? Or is this completely unrelated? Personally, it seems very related, especially considering only 1 week later he would end up passed away and Bryan would end up fleeing the state.
Yeah, I mean, two two crazy psychos, right? That basically, one committed, an atrocious murder, and one, had the SWAT team and killed himself. I mean, they probably did know each other, and who knows? I'm sure Bryan did have an accomplice now with more of this evidence coming out, right? And, well, we know he can't be the informant because he fucking's dead, but
What does ICU2 mean, and why did he spell it like that? I think this might be a key piece to this investigation. We might touch back on this important piece of information in an upcoming episode. Until then, moving on. I don't think there's a whole lot of coincidences in this case. The numbers, the timing. Why did Bryan and his father decide to leave Washington when they did? Somebody told me that they left at about 3 a.m. I don't know if this is a 100% verified fact or not. If you know for sure, leave me a comment down below on exactly when they left. I'd like to know. Is it possible that Bryan actually called the police department with a false call-in? It's called swatting. It happens to gamers and YouTubers all the time.
oh yeah, okay. So what he's trying to say is maybe Kohberger called in something on Kopacka, right, to make the officers go there, so then Bryan, could escape and escape to Pennsylvania while all the cops are busy with him, right? Maybe that's what happened.
Somebody calls 911 and makes a false report, and somebody either ends up arrested or worse, passed away. It's happened multiple times. I've seen a lot of news articles about it. People ask me all the time, "Drip drop, where do you live? Is somebody trying to swat me?"
Yeah, it's really common with like fucking gamers and the Call of Duty and shit like that. Where if people will try and find your address and they'll call up and tell them you're holding someone hostage, right? And then the police show up with a SWAT team. It's just ridiculous, and it's little kid shit, right?
There's a lot of dangers to being a YouTuber. It's not exactly safe. I've seen a lot of horrible things happen to a lot of my fellow YouTubers. It's a dangerous world, and I try to stay as safe as possible. Anyways, did SWAT team potentially pass away an innocent man on a false tip, and then kind of did the whole cover-up thing? It's a possibility. We really don't know. Here at Crime Circus, I'm open-minded to all possibilities. I don't like to leave stones unturned inside investigations. Think about the timing on this. Within 24 to 48 hours of Bryan Kohberger and his father leaving Pullman, Washington, a retired soldier with PTSD ends up passed away. A military knife was allegedly used in this crime. They found a sheath to a military knife right on the sheet next to Maddie Mogan. Is that a clue to this crime? Or a false clue? Did the perpetrator leave it, or was it planted? There's a lot more information to discuss regarding Brent Lee Kopacka. I've gone down many rabbit holes, taken a lot of notes, and done a ton of research. He really does deserve his own episode, and that might happen in the very near future.
Well, let's think about that for a second. I don't think he left it on purpose, because they were looking for a K-bar style knife because the wounds matched, the knife, right? It's got the cross guard on there. It's got the hand guard, right? So that's going to show up, on the body. So that's how they knew they were looking for that kind of knife, I'm sure, right? Not just the sheath to a K-bar.
but I promised you that we'd talk about a lot of other topics in this video as well, so we have to move on to the next topic. If you want me to do a return deep dive to the Brent Lee Kopacka case, leave me a comment down below and let me know. Either way, I'll probably do a whole episode on him in the very near future, regardless.
Yeah, why not? I mean, that's what everybody wants to everybody wants to hear about this case, right? It's gonna get a lot of views. It makes sense as a YouTuber, right? You make videos on what people want to see.
Moving on, Bryan Kohberger had actually applied to work at the Pullman, Washington Police Department. I believe he put this application in right when he first moved to Pullman, Washington. And I think he wanted to work for the police department for all the wrong reasons. He wanted to be some type of online profiler because he's a sick puppy. As I said in my last episode, I stand by that statement because it's the truth, allegedly. Remember, this is...
Yeah, I don't have to say allegedly. Kohberger's a sick puppy. Not allegedly. That's my opinion.
It's all speculation. Nothing said in any of these episodes can be considered factual. This is just a guessing show, folks. The police department didn't hire Bryan, and people have told me that police departments hire just about anybody. I don't know if that's true or not, but they didn't hire Bryan. And Bryan is highly educated and had no criminal history. So something must have really raised a red flag when they were speaking to this young man. I certainly wish I could have been a fly on the wall for that job interview. No other police departments have come forward and said anything about Bryan applying at their police departments.
And real quick, guys, just because I disagree with the drip drop on some things, that doesn't mean I don't like his content. Okay, I'm trying to nail this home because I'm getting, some of you guys are just lunatics out there and think just because I disagree with somebody or have a different opinion means that I don't like somebody. That's totally ridiculous. I don't agree with some of my subscribers, but okay, we still have a great relationship. Okay, it's just wanted to clear the air on that. Okay.
Did he apply at any others? That still needs to be investigated. Why did Bryan want to work for the police department, but then just a couple months later committed one of the worst, brutal crimes in modern history? Apparently his cell phone was pinging near 1122 King Road within 1 week of moving to Pullman, Washington. It really kind of makes me wonder if he was stalking some of these victims before he had ever even moved to Washington.
Yeah, and if this case had nothing to do with like numerology, then that is a hell of a coincidence, right? I mean, you got the 1122 King Road on November 13th, 2022. I mean, all kinds of shit, right? To me, that's just too much to be a coincidence.
That's some of the dangers of this modern world that we're living in. You can stalk somebody on social media from across the country or even from across the world. When your profiles are public, people can scan through your friends list, see who's reacted, see who's liked what. They can get a good look inside of your home if you're posting pictures from your home. They can see your friends, family members, acquaintances, where you work. A lot of information can be obtained from social media profiles.
Yeah, guys, I know you all want, especially the new generation, you guys want to post pictures of you guys like acting like everybody's rich and happy all the time, which we know is not correct, right? Everybody is not happy at some point, right? And everybody has money issues, okay? So that's just ridiculous. That's some of these guys. But yeah, be careful what you post on there, because if you're posting every place you're at, right, people can just track you or just follow you if they're stalking you or if they want to stalk you, right? Don't make it easy for them.
In the arrest affidavit, they say Bryan's cell phone pinged 12 times leading up to the passing away on November 13th, 2022. Was this Bryan stalking these poor victims in the months leading up to that horrible, fateful night? Most likely he was. just like when he returned to the crime scene at 9 a.m. the next morning, and then he returned again sometime after noon, and you can see his white Hyundai Elantra in the back of a news report slowly drive by on the street behind the house. He was obsessed with these victims before and after the crime. Let's very briefly discuss this photo that was leaked from Corner Club 2 days prior to Bryan Kohberger being arrested. What timing? This seems so suspicious and strange. I'm going to put the photo on the screen right now. As you can see, a lot of us believe we know who's who in this photo. I'm not going to name names or say who's who, but a lot of you have your own suspicion.
Okay, well, I will. All right. So we got Maddie, we got Kaylee, we got Jack. Let's see. This is Jack D. This is Jack, the other Jack that was supposed to be in Africa, which, you know, he wasn't. This is the other Jack. And then this is Alex. Okay? And then everybody thought this was the chief, you know, of the whole shebang, but apparently it's the bar owner. So we got everybody that we were talking about before Kohberger in one spot on the night they were killed.
On who's who. And within 48 hours of this picture being released, Bryan Kohberger was in custody. What timing? Either somebody on the inside was playing a prank on us, or they were releasing a clue secretly because they felt it was important. I will be investigating this further behind the scenes, and if I find out any relevant information, I will be reporting back to you.
Yeah, me too.
I promise. In my previous video, I told you to leave a question down below, your number one question that you have on this case, that I'd read through them all and try to answer as many as I could to the best of my ability. Needless to say, I was overwhelmed. There is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of questions. I'm going to answer as many as I can in this video, but if you like this format and you want me to answer more questions, let me know and I'll finish answering the rest of the questions in my next episode, and maybe an episode after that as well. A lot of you are highly intelligent and asked some really good questions. Some of you asked some really bad questions too.
Yeah, well, you know, when you have 200,000 subscribers, you're going to have good and bad. Even if you have 500 subscribers, you're going to have good and bad. You know, so nobody is going to like, you know, there's always going to be people out there that don't like what you're doing, okay? And there's going to be some people that support you, right? That's just a fact.
But I won't name any names. It'll just be our little secret here at Crime Circus.
All right, let me see.
Before moving on to human targets. Nobody's been arrested, nobody's been charged, nobody's been investigated for Buddy's passing. And I think there's a direct connection between these crimes. Almost wants to know, my question is it true Dylan had a bunch of friends come to the house to clean out certain items before the police were called? Great video, and I'll buy the product you advertised.
I'll tell you what, I'm suspicious of Dylan, okay? If there's an accomplice, which I'm pretty sure there's at least one accomplice, I'm not ruling out Dylan. She's at the top of my list right now.
It's not true as far as I know. I've read a lot of rumors like that on the internet. But with this case, there's been a lot of rumors since day one, and a lot of the rumors have turned out to be false. As of right now, Dylan is considered a surviving roommate and the star witness for the state. Is it possible she had some people take some things out of the house? It's possible. There was a group of people that entered that house, and the police still won't tell us who was in that house. They won't even let us listen to the 911 call, and that's supposed to be a public record.
Yeah, that's... If we heard that 911 call, we would get a lot of sense of, you know, what was really going on, how they were really feeling and acting, and what they thought at the time. It would answer a lot of questions, right? And you know, I don't know why. Yeah, it's supposed to be a public record. I mean, that 911 call should be out.
So that doesn't sit too well with me for the police department to be withholding public records from the public. Like it or not, we all do have a right to know what's in this case file, because you can't just charge a man and keep a man in a cage without making that evidence public. That's how we, the public, make sure there's justice in the justice system. Evidence is important, public records are important, and we should really be privy to that information. In my opinion, of course.
Yeah, well, I guess the judge made the decision because he has some good reason, right? I mean, we don't know what's in there. I mean, we can speculate and we can say, yeah, we should. We're the public, but I'm sure the judge knows a little bit better than we do, right? So I'm going to take his word for it for now, and eventually when we do hear it, then we can come back and say if he was right or not.
Hot Pie Gravy says, question, do we know if the cops have put Bryan in a lineup to see if Dylan can pick him out? We don't know that. They haven't told us anything. I think it's possible they showed her pictures on a table, but that wasn't in the arrest affidavit, so it's quite possible they didn't show her anything.
That doesn't even make sense now. I mean, of course Dylan knows what Kohberger looks like now, right? I mean, anybody could pick him out of a lineup now, right?
They might basically consider her a useless witness, other than she saw a guy wearing all black with bushy eyebrows.
Yeah, but even if everybody was wearing masks, okay, anybody could pick out Kohberger now from a lineup. Almost everybody in the whole country.
Which could be anybody. I've even seen some YouTubers fit that description. Chad says, hey, quick question. Did you ever answer the door for the pizza delivery guy dressed up like that? No. I like to make my own homemade pizza because it's way more delicious than delivery.
Hold on.
To help you, and then he did what he did. Realistically, the entire crime took between 5 and 9 minutes tops. There just wasn't anything else to do in that house, and after encountering Ethan and Xana, he took off, probably because there was more commotion and disturbance than he had planned on. There's been other similar cases like this, and the crimes just don't take as long as you might think they would.
I don't know. Well, first he was saying Kohberger couldn't see because of the visual snow shit, which I don't think that has played any role whatsoever. I think the visual snow, you can just throw that out the window as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Kohberger would not have entered that house if he didn't think he could see and kill whoever he was going after, okay? I think he saw Dylan, and for some reason unknown to us, he did not attack Dylan, even though they made eye contact. And even though they were like, 10 feet away? 15 max, okay? You got Dylan's room, and then he wasn't even to the slider yet. He was, So that's another reason why Dylan is just very suspicious to me.
When a psychopath has a weapon in his hands and he's determined to cause harm to another human, it turns out it's not that difficult. Life is just a very fragile thing, and it can be gone in the blink of an eye. It doesn't take a long time for it to happen, it just takes minutes.
Okay. Yeah, these are just questions that really don't matter to the case. Sorry, but that's the end of the video. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know what you guys think about all this stuff in the comments. If you did like it, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, don't hit the like button. But either way, hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you guys later. True Crime King, out.